Hello everybody, hope you guys are having a great day. My name is Rocky Rourke and I'm here again for another awesome live stream. Today we're going to be creating some vehicles and objects in Adobe Illustrator, and thank you so much for tuning in. We are going live now on Behance and on Instagram simultaneously. For those of you who are watching, I am currently going to try and live stream both of these on Instagram and on Behance. Hopefully today's live stream goes a lot better than yesterday's on YouTube. We had a bit of technical difficulties, but today should be going pretty swimmingly. Let's see, let's jump over here and look at the chat here. Hello, Rohan Von Eden. Thank you so much for tuning in here. It's glad to see you jumping on all the different streams. I really appreciate that. Like I said, yesterday on YouTube, we went live and started this week's, I guess, series of live streams where we're going to be illustrating vector vehicles and other objects. I still don't know fully what we're going to be creating throughout this course of this week, but we've started with vectorizing a truck. So actually, let me share that with you guys so you can see where we ended up yesterday. Here is the truck that we started on. For those of you who tuned in yesterday, both on Instagram and on YouTube, we started off this by creating this vector truck, but then we ran into a problem when, unfortunately, Illustrator froze and we almost lost everything. The good thing is that Illustrator has an amazing recovery feature so that it actually saves itself in the background every 5 minutes. And luckily it was saved and we didn't have to worry about any problems. Let's see. Hello, Mark. My little brother is back into the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. I'm really excited to have you. All right. So, just so you guys know, if you guys ever have any questions during these streams, I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. And also, I'm going to try to stay up to date on what exactly I am doing in the stream. That way, if you guys have any questions, we can easily touch on it. I know there was a troll, unfortunately, in yesterday's live stream on YouTube, but I tried to explain everything that I'm doing so that you guys can learn a bit from me. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be jumping back in here and we're going to start messing with this illustration. Now, one thing that's different from here than it was yesterday was I actually brought the tires directly into the wheel hubs here on the truck. And that was just so that I could create a quick thumbnail for the illustration, for the live stream yesterday. Now, the way that I went about doing this, because I want to make sure that you guys understand what I did here, you can even see a little phantom line creeping in right there, is I actually have this separated into two parts. So let me pull this down, and you can see here that we have a clipping mask. So I'm going to undo that clipping mask. And I'm going to delete the background here. So this is where we were at yesterday before everything crashed. And what we were doing was we were creating this wheel, this tire down here. So the way that we can go about doing this is by selecting this group here. We're just going to drag it up here. The goal is to align it as close as possible to the other wheels, making sure it's aligned up perfectly with these. We delete this phantom or stand-in piece. Copy this. We're going to keep one in back, and then we're going to do Command F and paste it in front. And then we're going to grab the wheel hub right here, copy that, paste it in front of the tire. Whoops. Bring it forward. Interesting. Why is that not doing that? Ah, okay. No wonder, because it was actually there was no fill with it. Okay. So then we go and click on the wheel here, hit Command 7, which does a clipping mask, and now we have the tire in there. Now, there's this little bit of, what's the right word, aliasing? I can never pronounce it myself, but there's that little problem right there. It's not too big of a problem until we get to the final little bit. What we need to do is we need to make sure that this is aligned perfectly to the bottom here. And even if it isn't, we can fix that a little bit later. I'm not going to worry too much about it at the moment so that we can go ahead and finish up this truck. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get this truck to a good point today and move on to a couple of other objects as well. I think yesterday we talked about doing two separate versions of this truck. One simple, kind of like what we have here, and then one a little bit more detailed. So, whoops. let's select this truck. We're going to copy this, and we're just going to move over here, and we're going to paste it like this. Now, the only other thing that I'm going to do to this truck is maybe add a door handle and maybe the gas tank opening and wheel hubs. And then I think that's, or excuse me, rims to the truck. And then we're going to move on to the more detailed version of it, which is going to be using the same exact truck here with just a bit more detail. Everybody's calling for a Cybertruck. I will be honest with you guys, I hate the Cybertruck. I hate the Cybertruck. I think it's the most ugly vehicle I've ever seen in my life. No offense to anybody. If you guys have bought the truck, I mean no offense. To me, it's so ugly. Oh, God. I will see about doing a Cybertruck, though. I have to pull up references for it and everything. Okay, so let's start with the easiest part of this, which is we're going to go through and we're going to create the rims for these wheels here. So we're going to select both of these wheels. And we're going to do object. Let me pull this over so you guys can see it on Instagram. Object, path, and offset path. Okay? And so what offset path does, if you guys aren't familiar with this, offset path will actually take your shape and either increase the size of it off of your path, and it makes a perfectly symmetrical version of it, larger or smaller. And what we want to do is we want to do smaller. And so we're going to do probably like right about here. I think -40 works. Click OK. And we're going to grab a color here. And we're just going to pop these in front. That way they fit perfectly. And so we have our rims, basically. Let's see. I watched you do it before, but I forgot how. What menu did you use to pick your colors? Got to take notes. I'll just quickly answer that, but we're going to go into that a little bit later. The menu that you're looking for is right up here. It's right by style, and it's called Recolor Artwork. Let's see. Rohan, I agree the Cybertruck looks gross. Do a better version of it. What it should have looked like. Oh, God. I don't know about that. I know someone yesterday was also talking about doing a Cybertruck, and I just not a fan of it. Oh, God. It's so bad. Let me think on it. Actually, tell you what. How about we make a Cybertruck the object for Thursday? The Cybertruck will be the subject matter here. I'll even write a note of that so that we can get this, so we can keep track of it. Cybertruck Thursday. There we go. So I just added that to my notes. So on Thursday, we're going to do a Cybertruck because everybody seems to want a Cybertruck. Oh, God. I remember when it came out, I kept seeing so many people. They were just like, oh, my God, this is the coolest thing. And I'm sitting over here like, are you guys crazy? Like, how is this cool? I'm confused. So... if you guys bought a Cybertruck, I do apologize if I'm just crapping all over it. It's just not for me. Have a little bit of alignment issue here, so we're gonna fix that. There we go. The Windows are undefeated. Pretty sure that they defeated it during the live stream. Okay, let's go and add in just a quick little gas cap area. We need a little bit darker. This is going to be the first stroked piece that we have on the truck here. There we go. We'll just put it there for now. Oh no. Unfortunately, my brother couldn't join us on Behance, so he's joining us on Instagram because it kept crashing. I do apologize for that. Sometimes, depending on your internet, it can happen. So, I already know that with the next version of the truck, there's going to be a lot of work that we have to do here. One thing I just noticed I do want to change is I do want to put in an axle. Because, or how do I want to do this? because I feel like right now, because this is the roughly the center of the tire here, and there's nothing connecting it. So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll make a little quick axle to go across here. I know that truck wouldn't have an axle right there, but just for symmetry's sake, we'll do that, and we'll make a better version of it. We'll make a better version of it in the second one. There we go. And actually, what we can do is just to help fix with this. Yeah, we'll do another one right here. Send this to the back. I actually want to give a huge shout out to a friend of mine, Talon Wadsworth, who is a principal designer on the XD team. He actually helped me out the other day with my cam link. Sorry, I had to think for a second. He helped me out with my cam link, and he helped out a bunch of other people who are using cam links. He actually told us about a way to fix the problem we've been having, which is, whoops, there we go. Copy that, paste it back here. Let's see, bring it forward a little bit. There we go. Make it the same. There we go. That actually makes this look better. So that way, instead of having an axle, we just have this dark band going across here, and that should work good. He gave us a terminal key command for our Macs in order to help make our cam links work more properly. Thank God, because that was driving me crazy. There we go. This is looking good. I'm liking this. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the truck? I think it looks really good. Let's show what it looked like before. Oops. I always hate those hotkeys of pressing F when it goes from this view to this view to that view. It just makes no sense to me. There we go. So this was where we were at. Let me zoom out. And this is where we've ended up so far. And I think that truck looks pretty dang good. I'm really happy with that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're now going to improve this truck a bit. So let's see what we could do here. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the front. I'm going to work my way back. So we're going to change these to gray. Then we're going to do an offset path. I'm not going to do 40 because that's too much. We're going to do 10. Make it white. Then we're going to change this to be a little bit. We're going to actually just decrease the opacity for this right here. I know I'll have to fix that later on, but I think that's good for now. Let's remove these 3 bars here. We're going to make it a real grill. And by the way, if you guys are tuning in on Behance, please remember to hit that like button if you guys are liking what you're seeing. And those of you on Instagram, if you're liking what you're seeing, hit that heart button. Yes, small details always make a difference. It really is crazy. It's really amazing to see illustrations once you start messing with the details a little bit. So for instance, I'm actually going to get rid of this. I'm going to move that over because I'm going to take that color from there. And we're going to see how we can change this even more. So, actually, we're going to get rid of these headlights. We're going to redo that entire front end right there. So, what we're going to do is we're going to create a more intact grill, or a more detailed grill. center these together. What did I set that to? 6 pixels. Let's bring it down. 5. Make this 5 pixels. Corner radius. My brother says it would be fun to see another perspective of the truck. I don't like playing with perspective. I either would do just the straight side or the front. And I don't think I'm going to do that in this one. I think it's actually just, it's kind of too much work for what I'm wanting to do here. It would actually probably take up, just to do another a true perspective, it would probably be a whole nother live stream. And I think I wanted to create other objects. So I'm going to try to, this stream will hopefully finish up this truck. And then we'll do another one for the Cybertruck, which everybody wants to see. And then I think later, I think Friday we'll actually do something completely different. Let's see. Let's extend this outward some more. And by the way, if I, let's see, you have a 3/4 angle right now, perspective. Yes, I have a 3/4 angle perspective. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of perspective. I think this is like a faux perspective. Because if you notice, I'm not doing any measurements. I'm not trying to do that at all. And that's because I hate doing measurements. Oh my god, I hate trying to do measurements. They are the worst. But with what we're doing here, we can do that. We don't have to be very precise with it or anything like that, so. Okay, that's going to be the turn signal, so we can keep that like that. Move the light over here. Okay, okay, we're cooking, we're cooking. We're going to copy and paste a part behind it. We're just going to add a little perspective here. So running into a little problem, but that's okay. We can fix this. So we had a problem with a troll yesterday. And I think my brother wants to take on the troll role this time around. Let's see. I think we need a lighter version. So let's actually grab a lighter gray here. We'll keep that color there, that's fine. My dog is right now digging at his bed under my desk, in case you guys hear that. Yes, my brother's not insulting me like the guy yesterday. Yeah, it was really interesting, you know, the troll that we had yesterday. He actually, I went back and found out that he was trolling me on another video of mine that I did. And I'm just like, some people, they don't, I don't want to say they don't have a life, but they don't have respect for the fact, like what people are doing and everything, or they just want to be mean to people. And I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like that. I don't like people picking on other people, even if it's not me. Okay, so we're playing with little bits here. And again, if you guys have any questions, if anything pops up, like if I do something that you guys don't know how I did it, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer any questions with that. But I'm just going to be working with shapes here. So I don't know if you guys would have any questions, but if you did, just let me know. Let's zoom in here because we have some little minor problems here. So we're gonna take that line. We're gonna take these corner points. Still did it. Okay, but it was easy to fix. I'm going to round these corners. Around these corners as well, the same amount. There we go. We are cooking now. Just going to pinch them just a little bit to even everything out. I think what we're going to do is we're not going to have that go all the way to the end. I think we're going to round these because we want to show a little bit more depth, and if we have that go all the way to the edge, we're not showing the depth that we want. What do you guys think? I don't know. Here, let's actually try something. Let's do this. Ooh, there we go. That looks better. That looks a whole heck of a lot better. Let's actually dial that color down, though. We'll do that, and then... What was my least favorite project in art? Oof. God, I have to think about that. I think anything that has to do with 3D. I hated working in 3D. Even in college, too. I hated doing ceramics. I got out of taking sculpture because I wanted to do animation instead. But I hated it. I was not a fan of 3D. 3D anything. I did actually... No, I take it back. I did like 3D modeling. Like digital computer modeling. I did like that, but I did not like... I did not like any types of like 3D. Like I had to take... I had to learn how to do some like soldering and welding a little bit. I hated that. Was not a fan. But that's all I can really remember. Oh, and I hated I hated actually drawing perspective. Those were the things that I hated the most about art. Was perspective. Perspective was the absolute worst. Actually, let me show you guys what I just did there. So, one of the ways that I do shadows with some of my objects is, for instance, like this right here. Whenever I have an object like this that's a rectangle with rounded corners, what I'll do is I'll copy the shape. I'll do Command F, paste in front, and I'll press Option and drag it up. I'll select the two, and then I'll go in Pathfinder, and I'll do minus front. And so what that leaves me with is it leaves me with this sliver that we can now make the same color as the shadow. And it creates this nice little effect here. Now, sometimes you can go in and you can actually put in a shade, or excuse me, a shine or a sheen up top, but I don't like to do that all the time. You know, I don't like the circles. I actually want rectangles there. So I actually had my first vehicle was a 1979 Ford F-150. And so I've always been more particular to the rectangle lights. This isn't by any means, I'm not trying to make a Ford F-150 here because this doesn't look like my truck, but I do like this. Since we're in California right now, or excuse me, I'm in California right now, let's actually create a front license plate. that a little bit bigger. And we'll make it flush with the shadow. Let's see. We'll bring it down a little bit. Or now we'll bring it. There we go. We'll do that. That looks good. Yeah, the reason why I don't like to do perspective, especially with drawing, is because of how labor intensive it is, and one little mistake can ruin the whole drawing. That was I hated that in college. I really did. Let's actually, I'm gonna pull up the license plate, California. Also, for just real quick, here is the schedule for Behance for this week. Is going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then on YouTube, I'm going live on Mondays and Fridays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Just so you guys know, moving forward, so that if you guys would like to tune in for any of these other live streams, that's going to be the schedule moving forward. And for those of you who are just tuning in, the subject for this week is, excuse me, is creating vector vehicles and objects in Adobe Illustrator CC. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Okay, so we're cooking here. Everything's like, I feel like everything is coming together pretty nicely so far, and we're only on the front end of the truck. I'm just pulling up a reference image to see. Okay. All right, there we go. So let's bring in these dots a little bit. And we're not going to go into super detail here. We're going to be very light with what we do. We're going to just round the corners to 1. Let's do... I'm going to put my brother's name, Marcus. Let's do Lado. We'll just do Lado for now. Make those all caps. Actually, I don't like that typeface too much, because it needs to be squished a little bit. So let's jump in. Let's jump in and look for some sort of typeface, and we're going to use Adobe fonts for this. So we're going to go into Find More. Or actually, we're going to go into Fonts, and we're going to hit this little squiggle here, which is Show Similar Fonts. Let's actually move over so we can see it change off to the side. And of course, it's still... There we go. Okay. Ooh, you know what? We're going to do that. We're going to use Brocha. Whoops, I did not mean to go bold italic. Bold. And let me see, I think they might have, oops, do they? Nope, they only have that 1K. Okay, so maybe not Brocha. Let's see, what else is there? Omnis, right? No, not those. Brandon. This is always a fun part, trying to find a typeface. Actually, we'll leave that for now. I don't like that K. That's the one thing I don't like about that typeface is the K. Erg. Let's add a couple little details to these lights here, and we'll add them also to the headlights as well. Just a little bit of texture to them. And by the way, when a lot of times texture doesn't always mean like special like grunge brushes or things like that. Texture could literally just be a pattern repeating. So for instance, the texture here are just these lines. Group those together. Move on. We'll try and align those by hitting Option click and aligning to the center. There we go. And we'll add that over here as well. Perfect. Adding a little bit of texture. Yes, I know the K on there bothers me as well. That's the one problem I have with that typeface, is that they don't have another option for that. It irks me. Let's actually copy these, and we're going to put them on the headlights as well. Whoops, I need to turn that off. I need to turn off scale, strokes, and effects in the transform panel. And we're actually going to get rid of one of the lines here because we don't need all of those. Or actually, we'll get rid of one of the interior lines, ungroup them, and then we'll distribute. Let's tap that in, one on each side, and redistribute again. There we go. And we need to actually change the stroke color of this because we don't want it to be too dark. There we go, perfect. Again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to, please feel free to ask away. Always interested in answering any questions that you guys might have. As I'm even looking at this right here, I think let's actually just try something for this one. We're gonna rotate this, stretch that out, and see if maybe it's better to have the lines be horizontal versus vertical. You know, to kind of contrast the lines from the other one. What do you guys think? Horizontal or vertical? Let me know in the chat. Horizontal or vertical? I'm gonna let you guys choose while I drink some water, and hopefully that will help my crazy, I don't know, ramblings. Jess Rock says horizontal. Anybody else? Sarah says vertical. Okay, we got one for each. Rohan says horizontal. My brother says horizontal. We got 3-1. Anybody else? If we get a fourth horizontal, we'll go with horizontal. Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Bueller? Didn't know if you were still in there, Rohan. All right, I think, you know, 75% says horizontal. We're going to go with horizontal. So let me actually tweak this just a hair because it's not perfect yet in my eyes. So we're going to make sure it's all centered. Get rid of the vertical here. Option drag. Let's make sure. There we go. Yeah, I think it's better to do the horizontal here because of the fact that we're doing vertical. So a little contrast there. We're even going to do, so my truck had this little hood ornament. I miss that truck. There's so many times where I'll go and look up that truck online and see if anybody's selling one like it, because I would love to buy that truck again. But unfortunately, nobody ever has it for sale for a reasonable price. But I've contacted my uncle back in Georgia, and he is going to... I don't like it. It's not working. He's going to keep an eye out for my truck. My brother's like, this is my truck now. This truck is different from the one that I had. Okay, so I think that's enough on the front end for now. Let's actually... Excuse me. Let's tackle the tires. So, we have this tire here. Let's see what we can do with the tire tread. So what I did was, actually let me redo it and explain it. So I just grabbed, because of the fact that the tire is made up of a blend of the front of this shape here on both sides, then if we put treads in between, it should actually look fine. So we're gonna make this a little bit darker. We're gonna bump it up to, let's go for 2 for now and see how that looks. Whoops. Make sure that it is in the front. Whoa, what is happening there? I have no idea what was happening. So the windshield does not have a gradient yet. But it might. Alright, let's add some treads. We'll add 3 bands. I think that's enough. Let's distribute those so we make sure that it's nice and even. That's not bad. That's looking good. I think that's looking good. Let's just try something. I don't know if this is going to work. It might not work, but let's go to Effect. And let's go Distort and Transform and Zigzag. It might actually work. Decrease that size. Decrease this, or increase the segments. And I'll explain it again what I just did there, if anybody wants me to. Let's make them smooth. Decrease the segments a little bit. That's not bad. That actually is not bad whatsoever. Okay, so we're actually going to just move this over here. We'll make a copy of that. Let's copy, paste that. All right. So this is what we did. So I'm gonna take two of these. Maybe it might let us do 2. Let me just make sure. Okay, it will. All right. So I'm gonna take 2 of those, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up to Distort and Transform, and I'm gonna go to Zigzag. And so what it's going to do is it's going to bring up this dialog box here. And the way that this works is you can do it relative or absolute. We're going to do absolute. I think absolute's going to work better here. And we're going to, if we increase the size here, it's just going to make this all big and tall. We don't want that. We actually want it to be small, so we're going to make it to about 5, and we might change that more. And then this number here, if we make it smaller, it decreases the amount. Or if we make it bigger, it increases the amount. And I want to make it probably about 15. And I'm going to smooth the corners. Let's bring this down a little bit more. Let's go to 2. Click OK. And there we go. We got tires. Wow, that actually turned out so much better than I thought it would. Holy cow. I love these happy accidents. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're just making a clipping mask for this. Whoops. Paste that in front of it. The top object is very complex and may cause the document to fail to print or preview if used as a mask. Okay, we don't need to worry about that. Let's copy this and paste it in front so we can get rid of that little squiggle there. That is not bad. That actually turned out so much better than I thought. What are hatch marks? So a hatch mark or a hash mark, depending on, I think it's depending on where you're from, is basically something along these lines here, where you just overlap, almost like a weave, like this. So like a hatch mark pattern, or it can also be set like this as well, just like the lines right there. Yes, Alex, like a crisscross pattern that is usually used for shading and sketches. Was wondering if it would look good at this tread. I mean, it could. I think though what we did here is actually, it looks a little bit more real, and I kind of like that. Now the fun part is going to be the rim. So we're actually going to delete that because we're going to redo that a little bit, and we might even make the tires a little bit bigger. Actually, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to make the tires a little bit bigger. I'm trying to figure out if it's good to do. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Oh, I was able to do it. That's so cool. It worked. Okay. So the one thing that you're seeing here is you're seeing all of these right here are all individual anchor points because of the way that we created this tire where we did a blend and then expanded it. And that's what caused Illustrator to crash before. So what I basically just did was I pulled that outward to make the tire wider. And so now what we can do is we can move these pieces a little bit. Whoop, excuse me. Whew. We'll just keep it the regular size tire for now, but we definitely want to change those rims. Ugh, perspective, no! Let me get rid of that perspective grid, hide grid, there we go. I pressed the wrong shortcut key. So I have a shortcut key set up for offset path so that it's easier for me to do it so I don't have to keep going up to the menu up top. Okay, so let's decrease it. And we originally, I think, had it 40. I think we're going to do it 30. So these aren't big, big wide set tires, but they have like a nice rim on them. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do that again, but this time we're going to do it at 5 because we want to give it a little bit of an outline. And we're going to do another one. And so basically what we're doing is we're just constructing the rim here. Let's actually pull up a reference. Truck rims. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm just going to pull it in like so. So now what we've created somewhat of a wall. And I'm also going to pull it just a hair so that we have a little bit distance. So now we've kind of got this nice perspective going here. Alright, and now I'm going to shrink this down. For something like this, I don't mind it not being exact. How do I want to do this? It's all about trial and error. I don't know if we're going to make it too much difficult. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. Paste that behind. Try and align it a little bit better. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that same shape. And we're just going to try to align it for the lug nuts. So because we have a weird perspective here, we have to be a little bit careful. So one thing we can do to help with this is we can create false circles to help guide us around. So I'm going to change this to a magenta color. I'm going to center it on the lug nut here. And again, with stuff like this, your perspective doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay to have it a little bit off. So now we have these guides here. Now what we can do is we can go up to Object, Transform, Rotate. And this is going to be a little bit difficult because we're using an oval here. But we're going to rotate it. What, 45 degrees? Yeah, 45 degrees should work. Copy, and then hit D to have it go around again. So now what we can do is we can try to align this as best as possible. And again, this is not going to be exact, so don't think that this is the right way to do this. But this is just a way to kind of like fake it a little bit. Again, I hate perspective. So we're just creating these here as guides. So that we can have a rough idea of where the lug nuts should go. And we don't even need this many lug nuts, to be honest. I don't even know if we need lug nuts. You know what? We don't. I'm just going all to this trouble. Don't even need these. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so here's our tire. So this is our final tire. This is where we started with, and this is where we have it now. So let's group these together. It really is. Faking it is the best way, especially if you don't know what exactly you're doing there. Alice Lee, hello. Thank you for tuning in on Behance. So we've got 11 people on Behance right now and 12 people on Instagram. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to copy this. Or we're going to click and drag it. And we're going to drag it right about the same spot that we had before. And we're going to get rid of this tire. And we're going to paste this in front. Just like how we did before. Select this area. Paste one in front of that. I'm going to grab it. Paste it in front. And by the way, if this is complex, I do apologize. This is a quick and dirty way of doing it. And there we go. Now, what we could do is we could have it to where we only see the tread below this undercarriage line. We could do that. I think actually that probably would be the best thing to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out a way to mask it out. And it could just be a shape, just putting a shape on top of it all. So I'm going to paste this behind here. Whoops. Okay, so that worked on that one. Actually, I just realized something. forget about that because we're going to fix this area here. Hello, Ben Burns. Hope you're doing good, man. Hope your family's doing good. Ben is an amazing designer, and he is part of The Future. If you guys haven't checked out The Future, definitely check them out. They create a lot of great content on YouTube and on Instagram. Known Ben for a couple years now, right? Like what, 3-4 years maybe? And I think a couple of years ago we had dinner together. He showed me The Future's headquarters. We really should do that again sometime soon. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm fixing this because I don't want this sharp edge. I want it to be more clean and curvy how we normally would have, or how a truck would be. Awesome. Thank you so much, Randall Casey, for tuning in. I really appreciate it, from the Discord channel for Adobe Illustrator. Okay, I think that's good. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I think that works. Okay. So, actually, no, we can't do it like that because we have to fix something. Alright, so we're going to take the bottom of the chassis of the truck, or the side of the truck, paste it in front, make a stroke. Whoops, and I just realized that my camera went out on Behance. I do apologize for that. Sometimes that does happen, but it should pop back on in a second. And please let me know, guys, if that does happen again, let me know and I'll try and fix it. Sometimes, for some odd reason, I need to actually talk to some people to see if there's a fix for it. But the camera will go into sleep mode. I've got a dummy battery in it so that it will never die. But sometimes it does act up. Okay, I know how I can fix this. I can just remove the corners here. So we still have that aliasing problem right there. You can just barely see it. My brother hates using clay in art class. Yeah, I was never a big fan. I hated ceramics. That was the one class I hated the most, was ceramics. Okay, how are we going to fix this? Because I don't like the aliasing problem. I mean, it's not too bad. We could just be okay with it. Whoops. We could just be okay with that aliasing problem. I'm a perfectionist though, so it's gonna bug me. But we'll see how much it messes up with the tire once we add it on. But let's actually bring that over here too. And I'm just gonna put it there. I'm not going to finalize it yet because we need to make sure we have the tire here so we can replace it. Okay, so now we can grab this tire, drag a copy of it, and we're going to align it to the top of that tire. Bring it in a little bit because we don't want it to rub up against the fender. Copy it, delete it. Paste one in the back, paste one in the front. Grab that fender cutout. And there we go. Like, you can see there's a little problem right there, but that's okay. And we still have that little bit of aliasing, I can't even say it, issue right there. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Like, even look, when we zoom out, you can't see it. It's only when you zoom in, and it sometimes will disappear. That's just a weird little bug, but it shouldn't be a problem. I still think, though, that we should probably cut that across. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag a rectangle, the size that we need. I'm going to paste it into the clipping mask for that part. And then I'm going to paste it into the clipping mask for this part. And what we can do is we can actually make this a little darker so that it doesn't look funky. Not bad, but not great. I'm not a fan of that. Let's undo that. We'll just take this and we'll actually darken this up, I think. Set 50% opacity. And we'll do the same thing for this one too. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad at all. I think like we still need to figure some stuff out with that. I still kind of like the fact that we... Oh, you know what? I actually have an idea. I know how we can fix this. Let's undo all of that. I don't know why this didn't come to me sooner. What we can do is we can change the colors of these. And make them a little lighter. Okay, not bad. It's a small detail sometimes that can really put a wrench into things, unfortunately. But let's actually try and cover that up again. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this? Is this too much detail? Should we do it without the treads? Because then we have this nice positive negative effect here, or do you think we should keep the treads? Because that's the one problem here, is it's getting a little too busy, it's getting too crowded. I think on its own it's great, but when you actually put it into the truck, it doesn't look good. Actually, let's tell you what, let's look at it without. So let's actually just click and delete these. You know, I can live with that. I don't think we have to do too much detail right there. I think that's fine, and that will allow us to move a lot quicker. Yeah, I think I'm going to make an executive decision and do that. So what I'm going to do is, to save some time, I'm going to just go and click on both of these clipping masks. On the clipping mask, I'm just going to click and drag everything over. I'm going to delete these here. And there we go. And we got that weird aliasing issue, but it works out. Yeah, I definitely agree, Rohan, that it does fit better with the whole design without the treads. I think it was just a little design element that I just wanted to see if we could even create it. But once we did, it didn't look good. I'm actually try something else here. I'm going to change this to that dark color as well. And you know what? I even like that. I like how that is now completely dark, and we have this nice positive negative effect going here. So I think that's what we're going to do there as well. Or actually, let's try this. Let's try and make these. There we go. That actually looks really good. All we have to do is just drag this over here. Ooh, now we're cooking. We are cooking. Okay, so Instagram is about ready to end in 35 seconds. So I'm going to actually end it and then restart it. So those of you who are tuning in on Instagram, if you guys will come back, you guys can watch the rest of this. But for those of you who can't jump back on, I hope you have a great day. Always remember to stay passionate, stay positive, and stay creative. Okay, so just need to share that and now restart the live stream there. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's actually take a look at where we've come. So we have our more detailed truck down here, and we have our simple truck right here. One thing I can go ahead and tell you guys with the two differences is the reason why we would use a simple truck over a detailed truck is when they're at smaller sizes. Because if we take this, if we take both of these trucks right now, drag them over, and we shrink each of them. I'm going to group these together so they can be shrunk. And we shrink these down to, let's say, 500 pixels. We'll go smaller. Let's go 300 pixels. And then we shrink this one down to 300 pixels. You lose a lot of the detail in this when it's smaller. When it's a bigger image, it works. But when it's a smaller image, sometimes it's better to just go the simple route. So for instance, if we were doing a big like animation scene and we were having a bunch of cars driving in the distance, we would want to go with this type of a style. But if we're creating just like a very detailed illustration, then we would go for the more detailed approach. Alright, so we've got the tires figured out. Now let's start playing a little bit more with some other aspects of it. And some of these aspects you can put on both of these types of designs, the simple and the more complex. What I'm doing now is I'm going to add a little bit of a glare to the windows of the truck. And this is the way that I usually will do glares for most things. You might have a different way of doing it, but this is the way I do it, and I use opacity masks. So we're going to set that to white, and we're going to carry over a couple of ones over here, make this a little bit smaller. And you could go fancy and try and do like a break or something like that with this. I don't. I just think that this is very simple. So now that we have these in here, what we're going to do is we're going to add a gradient on top of them. And so we're going to start with these two. We're going to copy and paste in front. And we're going to apply a gradient. And then we're going to go to our transparency panel, and we're going to hit make mask, and we're going to hit invert. Whoops. I forgot one crucial part of that. We have to select both parts, the gradient and the white. Then in the transparency panel, we hit create mask, invert mask, and I need to do those separately. Whoops. There we go. So let's undo that. We're going to do these separately then, because they're not grouped, and that's the reason why I just did that. So we're going to do that. We're going to hit make mask, invert. Okay, not bad. Now we've got to do the second one. And I'm going to decrease the opacity of these to probably 50%. Not bad. I'm going to go for my 35%, which is my golden opacity amount. And that looks good. And then we're just going to grab the frame here, paste it in front, and make a clipping mask. And there we go. We have that set up. Now we're going to do the same thing with these here. And for those of you who didn't catch that, we're going to copy these, paste them in front, apply a gradient. Now sometimes you can go in, you can take the gradient tool, you can mess with this and everything. I don't really do that much unless I have to. For these we don't have to at all. We're going to hit make mask using the transparency panel. And then we're going to hit invert mask. That's very, whoops, and I did it again. I'm trying to do this too quickly. You want to hit make mask, and then you want to hit invert. And so one of the reasons why I do invert is because when you don't click invert mask, it doesn't create a perfect transition from 0 to 100. So that's one of the reasons why I do that. Okay, so we got those. Let's go through and group them together and change it to 35%. And then we're going to make a clipping mask with those. And there we go. We've added in a glare to it. Compare it to the original glare. The glare makes all the difference. And you know, I just realized we actually didn't make a side mirror. So let's actually do that right now. We'll round that to 10. Zoom in there. Copy, paste behind so we can give it a little bit of depth. And we'll actually make it the same color as the toolbox. Create a little side piece here to apply it to. And we'll round those edges. And I'll just bring that in just a hair. Let's increase the size a little bit because it's looking a little small. I don't know, not bad. I'm not a big fan of how this is looking, so let's try something different with that. Let's make a little rectangle bracket here. We'll round it. And then we'll take a line from there to the center. Make it the same color as the bracket. And there we go. Not bad. It's not bad, it's not great, but I think it does the trick. I think it does exactly what I'm looking for with it. My brother asked if he can have a car for Christmas. Oh, that's some dreaming. Yeah. You have to have your license first anyway. There we go. Making this darker actually helps a little bit. Yeah, that's not bad. And then we also need to go ahead and add just one over here. Just send it to the back. We'll punch it over just a hair. We actually don't need that back piece, but, you know, it's not bad. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think that things are really looking good with this. The next part is this handle. I hate this handle. It's so bad. Ugh. Let's delete that. And let's make it look like a bit more like a real handle. See, the one thing I actually prefer is I prefer when I'm creating vehicles, I prefer to create more retro style vehicles than newer vehicles. I'm just not a big fan of it. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. Let's see, Ariel Arvanitis. Super excited to be here. Thank you so much for tuning in on Behance. Again, if anybody who is tuning in right now, because we got 12 people on Behance, 9 people on Instagram. If you guys would like to share where you guys are tuning in from, that would be awesome. I would love to hear it. And if you guys would like to, if you guys are liking what you guys are seeing on this live stream, please remember to hit that like button on Behance and hit that heart button on Instagram. So let's zoom in here. Actually going to remove the corner radius. Yes, definitely, Jess, older vehicles have more personality. It's very true. And here's something, I don't know how true this is. I did hear it on some sort of documentary, and I can't remember what documentary it was I was watching that said this. But they actually said that cars were originally designed, the front end of cars were literally designed to be, to represent faces. And the reason behind that was because they wanted to come off as being friendly. Little fun fact there. I love fun facts. Let's bring this down to 35%. Making a little area for where like your hand would go into to open and close the door. Let's shrink that just a hair though. Now, I always prefer older vehicles. I love, you know, right now, one of the things I've been watching a lot on YouTube are videos of people rescuing old cars, starting up for the first time in like 10 to 30 years. I think that that is really cool to watch, really interesting. But that's just me. So adding a little bit of a door jamb there. Nothing like too crazy, but we want to have a little bit of a door jamb. And so one thing we're actually going to do is we're going to extend the cab of the truck back just a little bit so that we can actually give this a door. I think that would be cool. Thank you so much, Dream Seed. Dream Seed says that it looks cool. I really appreciate that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this and we're going to do our offset path. And that's how we're going to get our door outline. Just like that. Tap this over a little. Switch it to the stroke that we have there. Actually, I think that's a little too much. So actually, let's undo that and redo the offset path. We'll do it to the 12. And we might have to actually adjust the cab a little bit more, but that's okay. The one thing that you have to be versatile when it comes to stuff like this. You can't just get upset if things don't work out right away, because sometimes things won't work out. Like, you have to keep doing things over and over again in order to get them to work properly. Around that and this. Not bad at all. Yep, so one thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to lock the door right now. And we're going to tap this back just a little more. Just because it's a little too close for comfort for me. So let's unlock the drawer jamb. Okay, and let's move this over just a hair. We're actually going to group this together since it is basically one object. All right, this truck is looking good. I'm really liking this, guys. I think this is looking pretty dang sweet. Let's add a little indentation, because my truck actually had like a little indentation in it. We'll actually make it the same opacity as this part here. I actually found a YouTube channel a while back that actually this guy found the exact same year and color of my truck that I had, and he's been fixing it up. We'll move that up. That way it's out of that little indentation there. Hello, Dawn! Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you. I really appreciate it. Everybody seems to be liking the truck. So that makes me feel good, because I'll be honest, when I agreed last week, somebody had suggested that I create a vehicle, or I create a truck in the next stream. I was a little hesitant. I was a little nervous about doing it, because I didn't know how well the truck was going to turn out. I really didn't. And so it seems to turn out much better than I could have hoped for. And so I really appreciate that everybody seems to like it. So we're actually going to remove this toolbox, because we're going to do a better toolbox. Or we're going to keep that bottom part. Let's delete this. Let's remove all of the corner radiuses that we have there for now. Drop this down a hair. And then we're going to put one up above it. Pull it out. Pull this out a little bit more too. Perfect. Let's round off these corners here. We'll put 5. 5 should be good. And now we'll round these parts. Perfect. Okay. So now I think, let's try and add a shadow right here. I don't think we need to, but it can also count as, if we pull it over here, it should work. There we go. So that can also be a little bit of like, this is like how the top lifts off and everything. God, what this is doing to me, guys, is this is making me nostalgic for my truck. I miss it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for suggesting an illustration that makes me miss my vehicle, my old vehicle. So we just dragged that out, extended the cab a bit, because I felt like it was very, very short. Oops. So we'll move this over back here. And then what we can do is we'll undo the corners, and we'll extend this out as well. And again, everybody, if there's anyone that has any questions about what we're creating here, or if you have questions about anything in general that comes to illustration, freelance, you know, please feel free to ask away. Let's see. Did you name your truck? I named my first car Ghost. Yeah, I actually named my truck after my grandma. So my truck's name was Lucy. I sold my truck to my cousin who bought it for her husband. And then he sold it a couple of years later. He ran into some problems with it. And unfortunately he sold it. I would actually prefer to find my old truck, the exact same truck I had. And so I plan on asking him, you know, if he remembers who he sold it to, because I would love to try and track it down and buy the same truck I had. I miss that truck. All right, so things are, I think we're rounding down. We're not going to make it make it silver. We're actually make it into a taillight. I think that's good. This is, look at this. So let's actually do a comparison again. So we have here the super undetailed truck, the very, very super simple truck. And then we have the more detailed one. In fact, let me actually change this part of it so it matches the one below. But this is the comparison that we have. So this is where we started with, and this is where we came out here. Now let me actually go and find real quick a picture of my truck. I have to go to my Facebook page in order to do that, because I would like you guys to see what my truck looked like, and you guys can kind of see that there is a slight resemblance between what you guys are seeing here on the screen and what the actual truck looked like. Let's see, because I know my mom has it saved somewhere in her photos, so I gotta go in there and look for it. Let's see, albums. There we go. Oh, my truck. How I miss you. Okay, so this was my truck. So you can kind of see some resemblance between this truck here and my truck. I love this truck. I had this truck from the age of 18 to about 21, 22, I think. So I had it for about 3 or 4 years, and the biggest mistake I ever had was actually selling it. I wish I never would have sold it, because I love this truck so much. Biggest regret that I have And I don't have really, I rarely ever have any regrets, but this was definitely a regret for me, is giving up this truck. Excuse me. It was a 1979 Ford F-150 Explorer Edition. So you can kind of see here, this is like kind of what I did, was I basically took inspiration from my own truck and I brought it into this one. And we'll add a couple more features to this one. We'll keep this up top here so we can go back to it. Actually, let's reflect that. There we go. So let's go through here and see what we have that we can add into this truck. Let's see. Let's do a little badge here. Just adding some details. And you don't always have to put too many details in stuff like this, but it's fun. It adds a little extra character to the illustrations. So that's the reason why I do it. So just adding a little badge there. We don't have to add any information into it because we don't want to overload it and everything. Rohan says, that's a nice truck, thank you. I just feel pain when I think about the fuel costs, at least in New Zealand. Oh yeah, so I would drive home from college every weekend to visit my mom. And we lived about 45 minutes from my college. And so I would drive 90 miles and I would have to refuel the truck twice and everything. So it got pretty expensive for sure. And especially for a college student, that's pretty difficult to deal with. But I miss it. Hello, Osomaza. Hopefully I said that correctly. I think I want to add, we have these rails back here for tie downs. I think I'm going to add those to it. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to use a stroke to do that. And again, it doesn't have to look exactly like my old truck, but I'm going to try and add a couple of details. And some of these details are things I forgot about. I didn't even think that, I forgot that there was even these rails on the back of that truck. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this up because I want it to have a little bit of a difference from here. Make this color here, make this 6-point stroke. Actually, it needs to be a little bit thicker than that. Oh no, my brother has a pet rabbit and looks like he got loose again. Ooh, actually this needs to come over because it's, yeah, we'll bring this over. Let's just see how that looks. I think I actually like it overlapping there. Alright, let's bring down some connectors. And then we'll send it to the back. I think that looks really nice. I like how everything is turning out with this truck. Again, I couldn't be more happier with how it turned out. I think that it's spectacular. Let's see, we are at an hour and a half. So let's try, actually, let's copy this. Let's make sure everything is there. And let's try and do some color. We're not going to do the same color as my truck, because white wouldn't look that great on this background. Or would it? Nah, we're not. So let's actually go in. First, let's see how many colors we're dealing with here. I have no idea how many values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we're going to color this the old-fashioned way. We're not going to use the recolor artwork. We're going to actually go and pick and choose colors as we go along. Alright. Luckily, let me move this over just slightly so you guys can see the colors a little bit. I've got these nice little gray hues here to start with, so that's good. What color should we make the truck? I'm going to put that out there for everybody to answer in the chat. Please answer both on Behance and on Instagram. If you guys are tuning in on Behance, let me know in the chat which color you think we should do the truck. And everybody on Instagram, let me know as well. And we'll choose the most popular color. I mean, personally, I almost think red might be a good color for this. But I would love to hear what everybody else thinks. My brother says blue or green. Jess says blue. Blue is a front runner right now. Aqua. Well, that's kind of blue. That's a bluish color. Anybody else? Anybody else? I kind of like blue. You know what? Let's actually go with it. Since we don't have a lot of people chiming in, that's fine. We'll actually go for blue. Light mint. You know, actually, light mint was the original color of my truck. Let's try out a couple different blues here. I'm not liking these. That blue, it's okay. I almost like that. That's not bad. We'll go with that. We'll go with this color blue. Okay. And we might even try different color variations on this as well. But the good news is this palette right here has all the different hues that we could possibly use here. So that actually helps us out a tremendous amount. Okay, so we got the basic blue down. Now let's figure out, here, let's do this. Let's actually select all. We'll select this and lock everything else so that we can select these colors and we can affect them the way that we want to. So let's scroll back up to the top because we had some cool, nice grays. Actually click this gray and I'm going to go through and I'm going to choose a nice dark color. Let's make it a little bit more blue. And try that. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So let's now go and select these parts. Or use the eyedropper on that. Whoops. Select eyedropper. That's not bad. That actually fits too. That fits perfectly. I'm just increasing the brightness on my phone so I could see, make sure that there's enough contrast on there. I'm actually going to undo that because I'm going to make it a little bit lighter so that we have good contrast. That feels good. And so we're going to reuse that color. Let's select everywhere that we use this, and we're going to select that same color there. I like the blue there, but let's actually try a different shade of blue up here. Or we might reuse it. Ooh. I kind of like that. It's got like a nice, you can't really see it on the phone, but I think it's got a nice, like, almost indigo type color feel here. So I think that feels pretty good. Okay, let's go and start playing with all of these gray colors that we've been neglecting. Now we need the lighter color for those. Let's zoom in a little. And so I like to go through and select select all of these colors, and we can always fix problems that we have along the way. Let's do that, but we need to actually change this and make this a little lighter. Not bad. The one problem I have with this color, though, is that it's a little too much on the yellow side. And it might be hard for you guys to really tell that. But if you can look compared to, let's zoom in here. What we want is we want this darker gray here to be a little more blue. So it's got a little too much yellow in it. So I'm going to go and select that same color palette again, or color. And you can see where it sits right here. You know, it's sitting right towards the green spectrum. And that's why we're getting that little bit of yellow there. So if we bring this up a little bit, or if we bring it over here, there we go, that might work. Perfect. That actually works perfectly. Okay. Let's see. What do we have here? We haven't done this one yet, so let's select all of these. So we're going to use the eyedropper tool, and we're going to select that light color. Go back into our little color picker here, and find the right one. And so this is like when I don't go through and I don't use the Adobe Recolor feature, this is how I go through and actually go about coloring my artwork, is I do the exact same process where I'll use some colors from my library, but for the most part, a lot of times I'll go through and completely change some of the colors I'm using. Now, I can already tell you, I think that the indigo glass color might be too much for this like blue that we're using in the darker areas, so we might actually have to change that, but that's fine. All right, let's change these turn signals. I think that's not too bad. We're going to set this to 50% opacity. And 50% opacity. Yes, my brother is right. It is a little bit too bold. That's the big problem I'm having with the with that windshield color. So we might have to fix that. Did these jump from rounded edges? Yes, it did. So I need to fix that. Yes. So all of this is being recorded right now on Behance. So you guys can go back later. I believe it's behance.net/Rocky Rourke. And you guys can watch this entire stream, and you'll actually see a lot better. You'll actually see a lot more than what you're seeing directly on Instagram Live. Okay, I mean, honestly, guys, this is looking really good. I'm really excited about how this turned out. I think this turned out way better than I thought it would. And I just realized I keep saying that. See, you know, the one thing that a lot of people think is that people who do like these live streams, or they create a lot of stuff like this for a living and everything, they think that we don't get nervous about the things that we're creating. And in reality, I always get nervous about what I'm creating because I don't know if it's going to turn out good. I don't know if every single client project is going to be, you know, a walk in the park, or if it's going to be, you know, if it's going to even turn out right. But the thing is that I've been doing this long enough to where I know when, like, I know how to explore, I know how to change things, I know how to, you know, get myself out of a rut. All right, let's jump back into our piece here, so because we need to get one red color for the taillight. And I mean, I think, let me make sure, the one part that we didn't do was actually the grill. Can we use this? Nope, we need to go one more. Or actually, no, we can take these colors and give them that part. There we go. So basically, our truck is done. Actually, I take it back. We are going to change this. I can't do it. I can't let it sit there. We need to go a little darker. There we go. That feels so much better. And we could even go into these highlights here. And we can make them a blue as well. The only problem is that we need to also decrease the opacity for these. Actually, I think they did. Did they? Hold on. Let's unmask that. See if this even has one on it. Nope, it doesn't. Okay, that's why, because the opacity got dropped off when we did that. So put those back down to 35. And there we go. That truck looks... Oh, found a spot. I almost spoke too soon. There we go. That truck is complete. Now, we could still take this and bring it into... use the color picker and everything. In fact, let's actually try that. Let's see what happens when we use the color picker on here and see what some of the results are that we get. So we'll keep the control up top here. And I just realized my Behance video went out again. I do apologize, guys. Luckily, it doesn't affect any of the other live streaming aspects of this. It just will go out. And you guys just see a black screen for my camera. But it's back now. Okay, so let's select this. What a pretty truck. Yes, it is. Okay, so let's go and click the recolor artwork area. And you can see all of the colors that we use. These are nice colors, too. This actually would be a nice color profile to... I'm going to have to do that. All right. Actually, no, before we do that, let's go in and just grab a couple of color profiles here. We'll do that one, this one, this one. We'll do this one. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. So it could be a total dumpster fire, or it could be cool. And let's do a couple more. But we have time still for the stream, so we can always play around with it just to see like what is out there. So let's try this first one. Woo! That is too much. So the reason why it's doing this is because of the fact that all of these blues, all of them are very similar to each other. So we're getting that weird effect. So this probably isn't going to work for any of these. But what we can do is, if we don't use the oranges, we might be able to do it. Might. Let's put it that way. So we're just doing this just so that we can see what it will look like. To change in the color picker, but that's the reason why that wasn't working. So we just have to take, you know, certain parts of it, remove the oranges. Okay. And then if this doesn't work, I do have another option. So let's just like go through. That's not working in that palette. Probably won't work in this one. So sometimes these illustrations, they just don't work when with going through these. You know, see, we're getting all these weird colors and it doesn't really look good. I would be pleasantly surprised if we actually see something pop up that looks good. Let's try this. Yep, nothing. Nah. But you know what we can do is we can still go and add those individually. Add those color palettes to the illustration individually. It just will take a little bit of finagling. So for instance, this color palette right here. Yes, you are right. Like, if we actually did this, if we actually just went through, we could actually change, we could change just this part. So, like, let's say we did, let's select everything, lock that other layer, select all of these colors, change it to the dark green, select all of these, made it a little bit lighter green. There is like a way to go through and actually recolor all of this still within a color palette. You just can't do it the fun, easy way of using the color picker, unfortunately. But you can still get some pretty cool, cool effects and some cool options. Nice cream color here. You know what? Actually, I think we could actually just apply some of these colors to here. My brother's gonna build this truck. Okay. I actually want to build a truck myself. Like find a junk truck and fix it up myself. That would be a lot of fun for me. So that's what's cool about these types of illustrations is they're very, very versatile. What are these at? 5? Okay, so 5 pixels. But is everybody liking? Has everybody liked this stream so far? I know it has to definitely be a lot of fun to watch me create these trucks. But I'm curious, like, you know, has everything been very informative? Have you found it very useful? I'd love to hear that. We are gonna make this change the hue of this because we don't want it to be too much on this. We'll still keep it to a blue, but I think we need to keep it to a lighter blue. We don't need a dark one. Seems like people are liking things, so that's good. I'm glad. We have 12 people on Behance and 4 people on Instagram. 108 views so far on Behance. That is spectacular, guys. Thank you guys so much. Ooh, there we go. That green looks so good on that. So good. It is fighting with the blue here. I wonder if we can actually... Ooh. That's nice. I like that. We can then go and take these. Maybe we can add the green to that. Let's bump this all the way back up. And let's just see. The green, never mind. It doesn't work. But we can add a blue to that. And I think it would look pretty dang nice. You guys love the green. Okay. Well, here, let's try the green. I like it too. The only part that gets to me is the fact that the green fights back with the blue here. So actually, let's copy this. Let's just drag a copy over. Select everything. Drag and deselect that. Lock. We're going to select this dark blue. And we're going to use a darker green. Then we're going to select this part. Now that kind of works. Like, we can still have the light blues here. These still might need to, the tint of them probably still needs to be changed and everything. But, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that having the blue undercarriage, do you guys think that that works with the green windshield and the window? Or, what do you think? Let's see. Rounded corners for the glass. Yes, so there are rounded corners here. Yes. I think this turned out really good. I think overall, because it's really cool just to see how everything comes about. Actually, let's just for the heck of it, let's see how the green looks on here. It still looks nice. Dang. That looks, wow. That actually looks really good. I'll actually add like a little bit more. Ooh. Ooh, that looks good. Let's change these over to this green. Look at that, guys. That glass looks so good. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I still feel like it's fighting it a little bit, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all, having the green glass. Just for good measure, I'm going to do a blue version of that. And even that looks good too. I think the green or the blue looks pretty good. But that looks spectacular. I think that's always the really cool thing about doing illustrations like this, is seeing like how they transform or how you create them. And the cool thing is that I can go in and just change the color of these illustrations, and it's a whole new truck. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to make a red one, because I can. Change that opacity. That looks great. Look at that. Just change that little bit of it, and the truck looks spectacular. Wow. Gotta love. I love the fact that somebody prompted me to create vehicles this week, because I think that turned out amazing. Okay, so what else can we do to this? So one thing we can also do is we can also create variants of this beyond just color variants. So, for instance, I'm going to pull up a reference for a camper, a truck camper. And we'll see, because we have a little bit of time. Actually, how much time do we have? We actually got about... we can try. We can try to quickly create something. Create a separate variant. Oh wow, guys. So I typed in old truck camper old, and this actually popped up. And this is actually the same model or the same year as my truck. Yes, I do have YouTube tutorials. If you look for me, Rocky Rourke, on YouTube, you will find some tutorials there. I hope to put some more out, and also these live streams are also a tutorial as well. So, alright, so let's see if we can, in a little bit of time, go through and create a quick camper. So, I'm going to use yellow. We're going to get rid of all of this part of the truck. I'm going to use yellow for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, create the main body of it. We're going to use the plus tool to get us the plus pen tool. We're going to round these off. We're going to copy, paste behind, move that over, giving it that nice effect that we're looking for. There we go. Just going to grab an orange color for the 3D effect for now. Got this little thing peeking out here. So we're going to merge those together. And we're just going to round this. Tap it, tap, tap, tap. There we go. Perfect. And now we're going to round this up top. We'll go 40 for that. Don't you guys love when I just decide to all of a sudden do an impromptu illustration? Okay, so we can do a little bit of an overlap, because when you look at some of these examples, actually, yeah, they do that. They do, yeah, they do it. Okay, so we'll give it a little bit of space. Round that, probably about 40, right? No, we'll do 25, just like the top there. And we'll take a rectangle too, because we want to be somewhat precise, and we're going to measure the exact amount. Align to the bottom. I guess we didn't have to measure it, but and one thing we have to do here is we have to make sure to add in a little bit of a shadow, because we have this overlapping on top of it. So we're going to give it a little bit of a shadow. Give this 25 corner radius. And this guy up here needs 25 corner radius. I don't know how I like it. We might fix it a little bit later, but I think that's good for now. We're going to round these two parts. Yeah, we'll have to fix this back part, but I think it's okay for now, just because for time purposes. So I'm looking at my reference as I'm going. Making sure that the window looks nice and good. We don't want to use the transform tool on this because we want to be able to keep that same angle. Because we want everything to line up perfectly. So we're going to use offset path here. We're going to do... We'll do 5. We'll do 8. And we'll make sure to round those outside corners. We'll need to give these parts here, whenever there's an obtuse angle, we need to actually double up the corner radius so that it's more even throughout. So we'll actually give this a cream color, because I feel like the cream actually works perfectly for this. We'll darken that up, or actually we can grab the darker color from over here. We'll delete this shadow for now because we'll need to fix that, fix all of that. And I think what we'll do is we'll actually have this go off a little bit or over the back of the truck. That way we don't have to worry about that too much. There we go. We still need to fix that. So this is just for fun. This is just for the heck of it. Somebody suggested last week that I do, I create some vehicles. And so I took the challenge. And so this was the first vehicle that I created, was this truck here. So it's just for fun. Okay. Let's see. Not bad. All right, let's actually add some little circles, so little like lights up top here. Let's grab the same color as the blinkers. Send that to the back. Pull that out. And we'll bring this up just a hair. A couple ticks. Rotate it because we want that to be a little bit flush, but we still want to have that little bit of detail. And I'll do, looking at this example here, whoops. We'll do one off of the sides there, and then we'll do about 5, I think. We'll just keep them distributed. We'll actually bring these in a little bit. There we go, that looks pretty good. Sketches by hand. That's my brother's suggestion for next week. I don't know, maybe. Still gotta think about that. Okay, so I'm gonna try something here. Whoop, my Instagram Live actually crapped out. Jump back in. So we're gonna do -10. And so the reason why we're doing this is because I want to create a bracket that goes around. We're going to drag this off. Sorry about that, guys. On Instagram, for some reason it just quit. I don't know if our timer went out or not, but I do apologize for that. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually selecting just like the outside lines or the inside lines, and I'm pasting them inside so that we can cut out the areas that we don't need. So what I did was I put them right here. Oops, for some reason there's a weird one just floating there. So now we can hit divide and trim, and then we can just remove, or should be able to remove, the excess. Perfect. Whoops, not what I meant to do. So now we can go and click and drag this over. Okay. Not bad. We're going to bring this down, because I tend to have a pole that goes down here. And I think actually what we're going to do is we're going to do this. As we're going to bring this up. So we're not going to have it drooping over like that, because I wasn't a big fan of it. I think it's fine right here, though. Okay, so that's looking good. We're getting that. The one thing is that I'm not too thrilled about this color, actually. So we're going to lighten this up. And we'll probably do some sort of design on it, too. Whoops, actually, this is the one that we need to do that too. And we actually need to straighten this out, get rid of the handles. Hello, Digital Design Desk. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so one thing that you will see with these is that they've got this like corrugated siding. So let's see if we can't create something like that on here. So what I'm going to do, I just have selected right now, I just got the red, but we're not going to use red. We just have that selected for the moment. We're going to do 5 pixels. Yeah, 5. Well, we'll go 6. We'll go 6 pixels. Pickles. Alright, we'll tap that down. Actually, we'll bring this down too. That's fine. And then we'll just keep tapping it down, just like so. We'll group those together. Darken them up. Let's see, we need them to be a little bit darker of color. That doesn't feel too bad. That actually feels pretty good. We're going to actually switch this to multiply, though. There we go. Now it's cooking. So we're going to copy that. Paste that in front. And we'll actually have to paste it again. Whoops, I just realized that we had transform scale stroke effect, so we need to remove that. I'm sorry to hear your head hurts, Marcus. Drag this over, copy, and you paste this in front here. Alright, now we just need to do the clipping masks on them. Not bad at all. I really like that. I like the corrugated effect that we have here. Now, actually, let's go in and actually add some designs to it. So, in looking at this, normally it seems like what they do is they will have... Actually, before we do that, select same. We'll do stroke color. We're going to expand these. So we're going to take a color, or take a bar. Let's zoom in, make sure that we've got it aligned pretty good, which we do. That's good. Alright, and let's see. What colors do we want to do here? I think we could do like the tan that we've got here, but let's actually open up our color library. And I think I want to do like a yellow. That's not bad. I don't know about this shade of yellow. I think maybe something more. There we go. That's actually exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for more of a pastel-y yellow. We'll bring it up. We'll make it a little bit wider right here. And we're going to reuse that color up top here. And by the way, guys, we're going beyond the time that I originally was thinking about for the stream, but that's okay. So if you guys have to leave, I completely understand. If you guys want to stick around, that's great. Okay, so we got that pastel yellow in there. Let's give some clipping mask to it. That feels really good. I really like it. Now for these ones that we have overlapping, we're going to change those colors. There we go. Oops, I don't know if this one... Make sure that's still set to multiply. I don't think these are. Interesting. I'm curious why this is happening. Sometimes these things will act up. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's see, we might have to do that for both of these as well. Looking good. We are doing good, guys. I'm really excited about this. This is looking great. Jessica Rocha, you are right. You can see more on Behance compared to IG Live. Thank you so much, Jessica, for jumping on to Behance. I really appreciate it. And I know for a fact that people at Behance do too. Ah, okay, so these are set to normal. Is that why? Yeah, that's why. Okay. Our little camper truck is looking great. I'm really excited. This looks great. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. Oh my god. Oh, get a grip, Rocky. Well, I've been live streaming now for almost 2.5 hours, so that's the reason why. Okay, so we're gonna do one more strip right here. Alright, and for this one, I think we're going to go with a gold, like this goldish brown color. Yeah, we're going to go for that. And it matches a little bit more with what my reference material looks like for this. Let's zoom in. We'll put that at 100%. There we go. We are looking good, guys. Wow. It's amazing what you can create in just a little bit of time. Just going to create a little hand crank here. This is for like the stabilizer for like when you need to take the camper off of the truck. That actually, because we're going to shorten this a little bit because I just realized it's a little too long.
We all walk without a glow, living on our insides, casting shadows. The world's spinning around again. We all know, but we all pretend. Earth spinning round again.
There we go. That looks like a nice little hand crank. So it's more detailed probably than I would like it to be, but that's okay. Alright, so now let's actually add in some more windows to this. So we're going to add another window right here. I'm going to move this over a little bit. It's a little too far over. Bring this down just a little bit. Thank you so much for tuning in, Dawn. You probably actually already jumped out, but thank you so much for tuning in. All right, let's do another one of the offset paths. And we will put a little line here. Perfect, perfect. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to add a little, for these side windows, we're going to add a little bit of a lip. Or a little bit of a shadow there. There we go. I kind of want to put a little thing there, but we won't just yet. Alright, so now we're going to actually try and copy some of our glares from the other windows. and use them up here. That way we don't have to go through the whole creation process again. But luckily it's nice and easy. Just going to decrease these just a bit. Thank you so much, Osuma Art. Thank you so much for liking the work. And I think some of these final pieces are going to go up tomorrow and Thursday. Let's paste that behind that shadow because we don't want that to be on top of that. Let's grab these again. Whoops. Thank you very much. You know, I really appreciate and everything when you guys like my work or share that you like it, when you like my posts, when you turn into these live streams and everything. I really appreciate it. Like it's great to know that the stuff that I'm creating is not only it's really nice for you guys that you guys like it, but I also like the fact that it also teaches you guys something as well. Oops, and I just realized we actually need to add a little part here too. We have that up top, but we also need it down here as well. And we'll add a little latch too. Awesome, this looks great. Wow, this just turned out so much better than I thought it would. And I think that's it. I think we have it. I think that we have our little camper. So not only did we create just like the regular truck. Let me copy this and bring it over. Whoops. Copy it and bring it over just to compare. We also created one with a camper. Maybe, who knows, maybe the next live stream on Thursday, we may go through and create a third version. Maybe we'll do one with big tires. I think that would be pretty cool if we created one, you know, if we just went and did some giant, you know, monster truck tires or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know about you guys. But I think it would be cool to do a third version of the truck, or even a couple versions of the truck too, just so you guys can see how versatile it is to do these types of illustrations. All right. So let me just jump back over here so I can, you know, talk to you guys and everything. First and foremost, thank you guys for tuning in to today's live stream. I hope you enjoyed everything that I created here. I hope that, you know, what you saw was educational, that inspired you. And please, if like you guys were inspired, if you guys created something during the stream, or if you tried to copy what I was doing, please, by all means, send me that on Instagram. I would love to see it. What we're going to be doing is the next time I'm going to be going live is going to be on Thursday. In fact, let me jump over to the schedule here. I'm going to be going live on Thursday at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. Today I went half an hour more than I normally do, but I decided to do that just so you guys could see it. See this latest version of the truck here. And then I'm also going to be going live on Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. where maybe we'll create a couple like random objects, or maybe we'll try and create a little scene to go along with one of these trucks. That might be a cool thing to do as well. But, you know, these streams have been a lot of fun for me. And I feel like it's been a lot of fun for you guys to watch me create these illustrations, for you to answer, or excuse me, for you guys to ask any questions that you guys might have. And I just want to, again, thank you guys. I keep saying it over and over again, but thank you. You know, you guys push me to want to create more. You guys push me to want to do these streams more. And I just really appreciate it. I think we're going to go ahead and end the stream now. I've had 139 people on Behance view this stream, which is the most views I've gotten in a single sit-in on Behance. I really appreciate it. There's 11 people still tuning in. If you guys like what you saw, please hit that like button on Behance. Hit that heart button here on the live stream. But we're going to go ahead and end things now. But always remember to stay passionate, stay positive, and stay creative. Those are things that are very important to me. They're values that I live by. They're what push me forward. Also, remember to stay safe out there. There's so many bad things happening right now, and a lot of people are taking massive risks. Don't take any risks. Please don't take any risks. Be safe. All right, everybody, that's it for today's live stream. Have a great day. I will see you guys back here on Thursday at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's it for today's live stream. See ya.